It is the common conception and truth that our world is overpopulated. Many scientists have put in their 2 cents about the carrying capacity of our Earth, and it continues to grow at an exponential rate. Ecologist Paul Ralph Ehrlich said that we are already far beyond what we can support sustainably. Biologists, anthropologists, and economists alike have all agreed our planet simply cannot accommodate an unlimited number of people, but no one knows for sure what the maximum capacity will be. Unfortunately, the concept that there are too many people on this earth has led to the ignorance of a devastating trend in humans. As we see more and more poverty and food shortages associated with overcrowded populations, the easier it is to forget about those who cannot have children, those who cannot start a family. And it's not just women, it is men too. Infertility, finally considered an epidemic in 2009, is global and affects men and women with almost equal frequency. 1 in 7 couples are affected. For the purpose of this discussion, we will focus on the United States and the challenges faced with creating families against the odds. Across the nation, there are about 440 reporting clinics that offer artificial reproductive technologies. Here, through the process of in vitro fertilization, a woman can become pregnant. There are 5 steps to this procedure. Step 1. Monitor and stimulate the development of healthy eggs in the ovaries. Step 2. Collect the eggs. Step 3. Combine the eggs and sperm together in the laboratory where intracytoplasmic sperm injection can be used if necessary. And finally, step 4. Transfer embryos back into the uterus. The goal of in vitro fertilization is a healthy singleton. In America, more than 50,000 IVF babies are born each year. That's more than 1% of all U.S. births. But there is a dark side to IVF, a side that no one talks about. Time, emotional toll, and expense has led many patients to push for multiple embryo transfer. But what about when more than one transferred embryo is successful? Because there is no regulation for IVF procedures and because doctors and clinics want higher success rates, it is common for doctors to transfer multiple embryos. If you undergo IVF, your chances of having more than one child are 20 to 40%, depending on how many embryos are placed in your womb. In fact, about 1 in 32 births are twin births. It is at this point that many women choose to reduce their pregnancy. This is what New York Times author Ruth Padower calls the paradox of reproductive medicine. While most women have the hopes of carrying one fetus, they end up with multiple. A 2-1 pregnancy brings up many ethical questions. Which embryo do you choose to get rid of? Who has the right to terminate a viable pregnancy, a viable life? How far does choice go? And there are many opponents to this. Many anti-abortionists and pro-life groups are very upset about reduction. In Padower's article, an anonymous mother tells her story of intense relief and intense guilt. She says, "This would have been different if we were 15 years younger, or if we hadn't had children already, or if we were more financially secure. If I had conceived these twins naturally, I wouldn't have reduced this pregnancy, because you feel like if there's a natural order, then you don't want to disturb it. But we created this child in such an artificial manner, in a test tube, choosing an egg donor, having the embryo placed in me. And somehow, making a decision about how many to carry seemed to be just another choice. The pregnancy was all so consumerish to begin with, and this became yet another thing we could control." Stories of reducing pregnancies are usually kept hidden because of shame and fear of being ridiculed. The procedure has become just as controversial as abortion. Even some people who support abortion rights admit to feeling uneasy about reducing to a singleton. They may think that a woman who electively chose for the fertility treatment knows of the increased chance of multiples and should be willing to take the risk. It is the ethical questions that arise with artificial reproductive technologies that make it so important that these procedures be regulated. To prevent the risk of multiple pregnancies, there are laws in some countries like Belgium and Sweden that only permit the transfer of one embryo. The question is, when will America join this trend? In summary, it is important that we fight against infertility in the most ethical way. For those to whom it has been available, artificial reproductive technologies have brought the miracle of life. It is our responsibility to value that life and to promote the justified application of assisted reproduction. In an overpopulated world, the woes of childlessness should not be discounted, yet we must also make sure that the implications of artificial reproduction are not overshadowed. Technology has evolved with man's quest for control. According to obstetrician and geneticist Dr. Mark Evans, one of the first to reduce a pregnancy, ethics evolve with technology.